Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host, Dave, and we are back with our Beyond the Blue series talking about Chelsea FC and how their transfer window went. As a Chelsea fan, I would say it was a pretty successful window. A lot of people are a little skeptical up and down about a couple of different moves this year. But for me personally, I think, Chelsea spent enough money. I think they went out, got the players to fit the squad. We'll talk about here in the transfer ends here in a second. But regardless, the total amount of arrivals and departures we had from academy level to first team, we had 23 players arrive to the club, arrive to the club, and then we had 26 players leaving the club, and we made I think by the end of all said and done, I think Chelsea broke pretty much even on the transfer window, spending over £300 million. But regardless, let's sit here. Let's talk about some of the signings that Chelsea did make. João Pedro from Brighton for about 64 mil. I loved all of this move a lot. I personally didn't think he was even going to be leaving Brighton. I had no idea that was a thing for him. Yeah, I mean, I had no idea that he was even for sale. And so, for Chelsea to go out there and get João Pedro, it's a good deal for me. I mean, he's a proven nine inside of the Premier League. And I think that's what Chelsea needed. Nicholas Jackson can only do so much for Chelsea. He could have only did so much for Chelsea. And so, getting him gone or getting him into the squad is definitely a plus for the Blues. When you look at Jamie Gittins, I think he is the same to me. Like, he brings a level of creativity, a level of consistency that's played at a pretty high level, and he's young. Chelsea loves buying young players. And going out and getting him and hopefully adding him into the squad very fast, very fluidly for 56 mil, like, it goes back to the point that doesn't really make much sense to me for Chelsea, because why go get Garnacho from Manchester United for $46 million? I get it, he wanted to leave. I understand that, but it to me doesn't make much sense why we go out there and go get Gittins, Garnacho, and outside players like that. That just doesn't make logical sense to me. I get it. We want depth in the squad, but with the likes of Pedro Neto, I know we got rid of Madueke. We got rid of. I mean, we didn't really get rid of many of our outside players, but I guess it was smart for them. I mean, $46 million. Hopefully, we can get a nice sale in the future for 65 if he shines at Chelsea. Any of these players, a good sale is never a bad day. But regardless, the next transfer, Jarell Hato from Ajax. I think this is a perfect move for Chelsea. Brings some depth at the left back position. Gets Cucurella off the field a lot more often than he needs to be. And with Champions League this year, Chelsea really went out and tried to prioritize having a pretty decent, if not productive, Champions League squad. Hato would be a Champions League player. Gittins will be a Champions League player. Garnacho probably will be mainly Premier League. Who knows? And things like that. And Liam Delap, I'm going to talk about him as well. In my opinion, Liam Delap, it was a perfect move for Chelsea for only 35 mil. Premier League proven striker. He's one of the a very clinical finisher. We've seen that in the Premier League last season. I think we'll see that from Chelsea once he really gets his feet under him. I think he'll be fine. I think there's been a slow start for our nines, other than João Pedro, who's in my opinion been clinical since the start of the season, even into the Club World Cup. Scoring. I think he scored 6 or 7 goals already through the season, including the summer as well, since he's been at Chelsea. So that's never a bad business for us whatsoever when our 9 is scoring goals. And if he can continue to do that, that's just a start for us and for the future. Eusebio has shown us why the wait was worth it. Obviously, younger kid. I think he's 18 or 19 at this point now, coming over from Palmeiras. He has been, with Pedro Neto not playing great, with Cole Palmer dropping because of injury. He's come on and been so productive at that outside right midfield position that we have to continue to keep playing him. I think if we can continue to keep playing him, if he can continue to understand the Premier League, understand what the squad needs from him, he'll be a great player for us. He'll be a great deal from us. And some of the other guys, Sar, I'm not going to really touch on some of these guys. A lot of these guys have been loaned out. I know we went and brought a midfielder, central midfielder from Brighton today on transfer deadline day. Loaned him in. Hopefully he can, however long, um, however long Enzo Maresca and however productive he wants him to be, I hope we can get the best out of him. Mark Guehi was loaned off to Sunderland. He's now back at the squad because of Nicholas Jackson going to Bayern Munich and because of Liam Delap picking up a hamstring injury. So Mark Guehi is back. Hopefully, get some productive minutes for us this season with Liam Delap out for a little while. I think they said 4 to 8 weeks. So that's enough time for us to definitely need a second striker. Looking at some transfer out, Kepa is gone to Arsenal, which I think is a decent move. Petrovic is going to Bournemouth, which I think is a great move for him. I think he potentially should have been Chelsea's starting number 1, but I digress. Noni Madueke, good that he's away from the club. He's a selfish player, and I'm very happy that Chelsea chose to sell him. He's going to Arsenal, which he actually played not too bad today for Arsenal, or yesterday for Arsenal against Liverpool. So interesting to see that. Mark Penders going to Strasbourg to Chelsea's second, or I guess sister parent company, or will the parent? I don't know, whatever you want to call it. João Felix going to Al Nassr. Good to get him off the books. Sarr is going to Strasbourg, same as with Kendry. On his way to Strasbourg as well. I mean, Strasbourg was generally just a team for Chelsea just to develop players and for them to get some pretty prime competitive soccer, some really prime competitive games, because I think I'm pretty sure they're in Champions League as well. And they get to play. They're playing in one of the top 5 leagues in the world, so it's always good. Leslie is fully gone to Burnley. Dewsbury Hall to Everton, he's already scoring goals. He's always doing good. He didn't do much for Chelsea, but he was a stand-up player. He's a stand-up guy. So I hope he succeeds so much at Everton. Armando Broja finally off the books. He's going to Burnley as well. Carney is going to Dortmund. Alfie Gilchrist is going to West Brom. Christopher Nkunku, shockingly, I knew he was leaving. I didn't think he would go to AC Milan, but he's now moved to AC Milan. It's a good move for him. I think it's a good move for AC Milan. Nicholas Jackson has been loaned to Bayern Munich. Thank the Lord, because Nicholas Jackson is horrible, and I think he just needs time to become a better player, and hopefully he can do that at Bayern Munich. Ben Chilwell, thankfully we have gotten him off the books and gone to Strasbourg. I feel so bad. He's sat for the last 2 years. He's been dealing with injury. Hopefully he can have a revitalized career at Strasbourg, and even get transferred back to the Premier League at one point as well. I think he's a pretty good left back, and I think some other teams will understand that and realize that very soon as well. Renato Vega is gone to Villarreal, and that's a good move for him as well. Yeah, Renato Vega getting off the books as well, going to Villarreal. This is a good move for him. Gets him first team minutes somewhere instead of rotting on the bench at Chelsea. But regardless, let me know how y'all think about this window for Chelsea. Some people say, I personally wish we would have gotten another defender. I think, with Levi Colwill going down, I love Tolson. I love Trevor Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah to me is the number 2 behind Levi Colwill. But regardless, I wish we would have went out and got another defender instead of going out and getting Garnacho. I think that was a little unproductive. But regardless, I digress. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down below in the comments about this Chelsea FC window. It's been a fun transfer window. It's going to be a fun season, sitting, I think, second place right now in the Premier League with 7 points behind Liverpool at 9. So, great start to the season for Chelsea. Great start to the, great closure for the Premier League window. I've been your host, Dave, on Spin the Post Game. Peace.